Alright, hello. So, before we start in today's video, I'm gonna just say real quick that soon enough you guys will get another Warframe specific video. Just like the full edited ones, I know you guys like these a lot. And it will be about a frame that is criminally underused in my opinion. So that is very exciting. Regardless, on this video, we're keeping the score with the viewer suggested weapons. So there were quite a bit of people suggesting this one, so I'm not gonna pick just one. And this one was the Tigris. Any version of the Tigris. So I'm gonna choose to showcase the Tigris Prime on this one and also UI. So the Tigris used to be one of the strongest shotguns in the game, arguably the strongest shotgun in the game prior to Eidolon, Plains of Eidolon. This was back in 2016, 2017 early, all the way back then. It's been 7 years since, and this gun hasn't seen the light of day ever since. It is really, really bad. It is only good as the normal Tigris for early game, and that is about how far you will go with it. However, if I take this like this with a wisp, it will not be any better. So instead, we are gonna use a Warframe and weapon synergy to actually make it good. Because, there is no feasible way to make it good on its own. You have to use some kind of synergy. And the synergy I'm gonna showcase is with the Queen, Garuda. So, to not ruin my setups, I'll go right here. And I'm gonna quickly explain why Garuda is so good with it. And I can actually show you this in simulacrum, so you can clearly understand this a bit better. And that way you will be able to see what the Tigris also does on its own. But yeah, in case you don't know, Garuda, one of the strongest damage warframes in the entire game. She will receive her own video at some point as well, but I need to make that more detailed, so I will require, some week to just fully devote myself to making a video on Garuda, make it very detailed. But for now, let's just show this. So, first of all, the build. So on the Tigris, we have a Riven mod that gives us Toxin, Status Chance, and Electricity. This isn't the best that I got, but it does the job done because all you really need on your weapon is just as much damage as possible. It doesn't mean it has to be base damage, doesn't mean it has to be slash damage, it can be any kind of damage. And elemental damage works perfectly, and I will show you why. So, just pure damage. You can build this for crit. It's not crit heavy at all, and it's not crit viable. Prime Chilling Grass, Prime Churchill, basically as much damage as possible, and Galvanized Savvy on top of that. Now, it's not multiplicative, but as I said, it doesn't really matter. And of course, we are not using a primary, Merciless, Deadhead, or Dexterity mod. And I'll show you why. First of all, we have this. It is not quite 360%, but it's enough for the Tigris. And Shotgun Vendetta gives us much reload and way more multi-shot. And the multi-shot is what we need from this arcane. The multi-shot is what is gonna make the huge difference that you're gonna see, because of the pairing with Garuda's fourth ability. So Seeking Talents will give any kind of shots, any kind of damage that we deal to an enemy, bleed proc. And this works for every single pellet of the Tigris Prime. On its own, before you even stack Galvanized Hell and Shotgun Vendetta, your multi-shot is 21. And this is a base of 8. So after you stack it, you get to around 45 to 50 multi-shot. I haven't done the math because, frankly, I don't really care to do the math. I just know that it works. And if you want to take this even further, you add Xata's Whisper, which basically doubles your multi-shot when paired with Garuda's Sword. All this results in big, or many slash procs. So, see that in action. First of all, to get Garuda's passive, you need to tag them with your fourth, come back to the console, and kill enemies. This will fully stack your passive all the time. And now we can see it in action. So, before anything, this is the damage that it does to these heavy gunners. It is corrosive and cold, so it should one-shot these guys, but as you can see, it is not dealing that much damage. That guy was armor stripped, so... And now I'm getting Kavatpa. Are you serious? Stop ruining the videos, man. Alright. Well, we got a stack again. Whatever. Alright, 70%, good enough. So, as we see, not great damage. Shotgun Vendetta will pop now, so damage will become way, way better. Some stacks popping in. So, better damages. Can two-shot these guys now, which is okay. It's not bad. And when you pair it with like a decent way to prime these enemies, then you do actually do a lot of damage. But, you know, this is acceptable and all. If we add Xata's Whisper, we are almost getting onto the one-shot territory, but not quite. But now, look what happens if we press our fourth on these guys. I'll shoot this guy and look at his bleed procs. 91. 92 bleed procs. 1.3 million bleed proc damage. 1.4 million bleed proc damage. So just like that, you make this gun easily level cap viable using Garuda. And before that, just Xata's Whisper is obviously not enough. Why does this do so much damage? Well, first of all, you are literally hitting 90 bleed procs because you have 90 pellets hitting the enemies at the same time. And with the damage being calculated as a percent of the damage you deal when wielded by Garuda and proccing Garuda's 4, the damage gets kinda crazy. Regardless, your passive acts as Roar, and then Xata's Whisper is obviously Xata's Whisper. So, we can add Bane to this, but honestly, it does not matter whatsoever. We can body swap this, guys. Easily. So, yeah. This is no primer, obviously. Nothing. If we add the primer, this can get very crazy. And we're gonna showcase this on the actual disruption mission. Because, honestly, you're using a Tigris. We can't make the Tigris AoE. So we're either gonna use it with something like Limbo to take care of somebody entering the bubble. Or we're gonna use it with Garuda and go for a disruption mission. Which is what I'm planning to do right now. So, Olympus, Kappa, both will work. Let's go Kappa. The new disruption mission requires crit weapons mostly, and bleed procs do not do as much on that mission, so you need raw damage. We will get to getting raw damage on it, but you know, generally, this is acceptable. So yeah. Well, I forgot to do something, but I think that will get a lot of questions, and I want to leave that for the Garuda guide itself. I'm missing an important element on my build that makes me way tankier, but we'll leave it up alone for now. It's fine. So. Alright, awesome. Now, obviously, base steel path, you can easily kill with this. Even like heavy units like the heavy gunner, it will struggle against bombers because it's corrosive cold, obviously, and it's just maximum damage. But Garuda adds a lot of damage because of her passive, obviously. 100% roar is a lot. And a lot of people are saying this is like Eclipse, but it's roar, 100%. Alright, so first demo. We're gonna see that we prime him, then Garuda 4, and I'm not gonna add that as Whisper. He cleansed my bleed proc, so we didn't see anything, unfortunately. I'll try to give you guys the bleed proc number after, so we can see what it actually did. Because Garuda's 4th ability bleed procs are counted as abilities, yeah. You don't really see the damage numbers if they get the nullifying effect on them. So that is one thing to take account of when playing Garuda. You like unleash the power after he cleanses, I guess. Bomber down. He takes 2 shots instead. Keep shotgun vendetta stacked. Okay. Alright, wait for his nullifying. Yep. And so 43k. Obviously these guys have a lot of DR. And you can obviously get way harder. So now we're gonna add Xata's Whisper to this, but you see for base steel path, Xata's Whisper is not even needed. One shot is almost always enough. So it's okay so far. The only thing that kind of sucks with Xata's on the thing that I have at the moment is that it makes compressor kind of funky to use. This is what it does without Garuda 4 against Xmas as well, in case we wanted to see that. So now we can see on its pure glory. Oh, shit. And that is 144k bleed proc with basically nothing. So now it's starting to seem way better. With Xata's Whisper on. Everything gets one-shotted. And generally it's why Xata's Whisper and Garuda is absolutely goated. You get double the amount of bleed proc stacks with your 4th ability, because Xata's Whisper basically creates another instance of damage onto your build. Essentially multi-shot. 1.1 mil. Now, this was without even fourth ability, that was just, you know, playing. Now, I can say 2 things about this. First of all, it's not a crit weapon, so it's not good against acolytes. Second of all, I've taken this setup to almost level cap, and it has worked. And when I mean almost level cap, I mean level 4000, where I couldn't go for longer because the duo that I was playing with had to go, and he was having a pretty interesting build that was taking a lot of damage because he basically relied on shield gating and had no shield gating on the build, which was an oopsie, but it's fine. I will do a normal level cap with Garuda for the actual video, as I've done before. But I don't know if I will do it with the Tigris again. The Tigris did the damage, and I think it would kill level cap quite easily with this, but I don't know. Regardless. We see, without Xata's Whisper on the Napalm, we'll do no more than 86k, but Xata's Whisper take this all the way up to like 1 million, so it's way better to see this to understand how much of an influence Xata's makes on the setup and on Garuda. In general, if you want to use Tigris, you should use Xata's Whisper as well, because it's a high multi-shot weapon, and it benefits a lot from it. But yeah. Dude. Yeah. Nullifying effect? Hello? Okay. Alright, if you're not gonna do it, then sure. Oh, that was an Xmas enemy just getting popped before even bleed. And remember, the bleed is like 1 point whatever million with this, so... Also, the reload speed from Shotgun Vendetta feels so nice to use on this. Now we're gonna see what this does to Acolytes. As I said, it's not that great, so don't expect a lot. If it does damage to Acolyte, just know it's Garuda, not this. Let's try to get this guy first. Actually, no. Acolyte will teleport. Wait. And as you see, basically 0 damage. So yeah, not great. Ah, there we go. Also, I'm not sure you noticed, but yeah, this build is super tanky already. And I'm missing like an important element that makes me way tankier, so that's quite funny. No Xata's Whisper, so no damage. I mean, yeah. It is quite interesting to have this. But I will say that obviously it's not the best, right? It can get the job done, and you can make it better than I have, if you have a better Riven than me. But overall, it's alright. Does the job pretty well. Where are the enemies? The hell? There is no enemies. So you see what I mean with Xata's Whisper and Compressor? It just doesn't work. I can't hit him. Do you know why? Because I don't. Regardless. Now he took out the fourth. And my Xata's Whisper, so it deals 0. Honestly, it works. And it works well. But when it comes to disruption and the nullifying effect, you have things that can ruin the setup. You have stuff that can give you a hard time, and I wouldn't pick this as a main weapon for something like Garuda. On the run that I did go level cap with Garuda, I could use the melee weapons themselves to actually do damage. They're really, really good. Even though they don't take a melee arcane, they're still really, really strong. And then I took a secondary weapon that was to kill the demos, as well as a... what do you call it? Tainted Envoy. So Garuda has a lot of potential as a Warframe to do tons of damage with weapons, and she is the thing that saves the Tigris Prime as a weapon of the Tigris in general. Now, would the Sancti Tigris be better? Maybe, especially if you can force some kind of crit on it with Arcane Avenger or Riven mode and more crit heavy. Then yeah, for sure. Because look, if we use Sancti Tigris, right? It is 15% crit chance. There is a low multiplier, yes, but it's 15% crit chance. Tigris Prime too, but Tigris Prime it's a bit harder. Tigris Prime has a 2x multiplier, obviously, but 10% crit chance. So if my Riven right here becomes somehow crit chance, crit damage, and then a negative, or crit chance, crit damage, multi-shot, and then a negative. Also, obviously, on my Riven, if I get multi-shot instead of status chance, we get so much more value because our bleed procs go from 90 per shot to like 100 or 110, 120 per shot, maybe. There's a lot of stuff that can happen in the build. Regardless, if we get somehow crit chance, crit damage, and negative on this, and then we pair it with critical deceleration and, you know, prime ravage, this could possibly go like 40 to 50% crit chance, which will allow the use of Arcane Avenger, maybe Ardaza Kavat, something like that, and then you can make this a crit shotgun and use the same setup. And with a crit shotgun, crits will scale your bleed proc and your damage way higher, and you can get more value out of it. So obviously, this isn't the best setup that you can go. This is a setup that you can go, and it's mine. But you can make it better. And if I did have a Raven that had those properties, then the build would probably lose um maybe Prime Chilling Grasp, unironically. Because yes, cold is good. Cold is getting buffed, but crit would be better if you could guarantee over 100% crit chance with the use of external crit multipliers. So this is it. This is the build. The Garuda build looks like this. If you want to see it, obviously. Pistol amp. Well, I forgot. On the Garuda that I use, I change the amp depending on what I'm using. So we should have had shotgun amp, which would kind of do well. It wouldn't make a huge difference, but hey, it's whatever. So that's a Tigris Prime. Thank you very much for the suggestion, and trust me, there were like at least 10 people who said Tigris Prime. I really want to see Tigris Prime be good again, and I sympathize with those people a lot because I play since 2015 and I know what the meta used to be in 2015. The Skoliak, the Atarax, the Tigris Prime, all these forgotten, lost weapons because there were so many changes with Blood Rush, Maiming Strike, just so many changes. But it's fine. We can still make these weapons work. And once again, I am proving to you that any weapon can, in fact, level cap under the right setup. So, thank you everyone so much for watching. Post your suggestion down in the comments for what you want me to take a look at next. If you, little spoiler, if you post the synapse, then the synapse will be in probably 2 weeks, the same. So do not post the synapse. I'm gonna get to it. I have that in mind. I have prepared. But keep suggesting. Obviously, this is a long running series, and I will do one every week. And I'll see you on the next video.